Yeah. Hey. All right. Hey. Yeah, I mean.
So we about to take off.
Hey. Please do remain calm. About to run against spitting with a little bit of soul, no times.
Welcome to Please Remain Calm. I'm Ben Gonzalez.
And I'm Daniel Gonzalez. Listen, folks, as always, the opinions expressed here on the Please Remain Calm podcast are our own. They do not reflect the opinions of the Los Angeles City Fire Department or the Los Angeles County Department of Health Services.
They sure don't. We are back in the studio after another hiatus. It's been crazy to try to get in here to try to record shows lately.
Well, typically in the past couple of years that we've been doing this show, the end of the year is pretty tough for us just because we have a lot going on. And I know some of you know, but like for me in particular, December is like a crazy month for me, right? Because Bernie, my wife's birthday is the beginning of the month.
Yep.
I don't want to tell everyone's birthday, but Bernie, my dad, both of my kids, Christmas, and then we do a trip every December. On top of that, we've been remodeling the house. We're doing a pool right now, so it's like I'm either dealing with something with that or at work trying to make money to pay for all this stuff.
Yeah, you literally have as many things going on as can be.
Yeah.
Right now.
And then Ben, for those of you that don't know, just recorded his first 30-minute comedy special.
I did.
That we just went and watched the taping of that. And I have to say, amazing job, man.
Thanks, man.
It was fucking awesome.
Thanks,
really
dude.
awesome. And the crazy thing, like for me, being your brother and knowing you your entire life, and I've talked about this with Carlos, and Carlos posted about it too, is like people don't understand like how shy and just like introverted you were before you started getting into comedy.
Yeah.
Okay. We knew you were funny, just living life with you and roasting each other and different things like that. But when you told us, hey, I'm going to go do an open mic at the Laugh Factory, it was like we literally both did if I had water in my mouth, dude, I would have done a spit take. Yeah. Like that's how crazy it was to us that you were doing that. And so to go and watch you do that and to watch you succeed and to have bad sets and good sets and grow and improve your act, I can't tell you, dude, I'm going to cry talking about it, how fucking proud I am of you. The special that you just did, man, and how good it was. And I'm a fan of comedy too, man. And to see you grow as a comedian like that, and at the same time grow as a person, fucking beautiful to watch, man. I love you, man. And I'm super proud of you.
Thanks, dude. I'm glad that you guys were there. It was a lot of work, and I was nervous about it, like going right up into it. You don't even know if it's like a good idea. I co-produced it myself.
Yeah, it's a big risk,
so it's
dude.
like a big risk and everything, but it was like, I'll have one shot to do this, one shot to do it with that team, because I had like a really good team behind me. And that's pretty much what pushed me into really going through with it, was I was lucky to work with those people. So it's like I had to do it as good as it could have done it, because no one's going to give me a chance again.
It was great, man. It was great. And listen, man, I'd be the first to tell you if something didn't hit or whatever, but everything hit. The crowd was awesome. It looked amazing. I can't wait to see it, man. I'm just super, super proud of you. And listen, it should be an example for those of you out there that are coming up or thinking of trying something, or something that's like in your heart that nobody in your family does, none of your friends have done. You know what I mean? Like, a few people have messaged that they love this quote, but everything you want is on the other side of fear. You have to face that fear and go ahead with the things that you love and you want to do in life, man. And things will blossom for you. I'm telling you. And that's it, man. I'm really
I appreciate that. It's really true. And it's another aspect that we don't always get into on this show, because we talk about what we talk about, but on the side of our careers, we also have these other careers where we're pushing for shit that like also takes balls to do. Because the whole basis of this, this podcast and the jobs we talk about on this podcast take big balls.
Yeah, this is
and
a balls
part
podcast.
of why it's Please Remain Calm is because, you have to,
face that fear,
have balls to stay calm in these situations, right? And this was kind of like another one of those, but just in general, going for big shit on the side, acting, comedy, producing TV, all the shit that we're trying, it's hard and it's a leap. And so when Danny gives that quote about fear, it's exactly that. And there was fear right up until the end in doing this, dude, and hoping it'll work. And it wound up, going better than I could have hoped for. It was awesome.
Yeah, it came out great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to touch on, those of you that follow me and have been following me in the social media things that I do, you know that I have been doing the 63s station Instagram page for like the past 4 years. So I'm gonna give you. Everybody's asked me to talk about this, so I'm gonna give a breakdown of what happened with that and where it's gonna go from here. Essentially, I have been running that page. I was the first LAFD station page. Okay, I was asked to do it by my captain at the time. This was 4 years ago. Okay, and I used to post. Those of you that have been following me for a while know that I used to post all these fire pictures and stuff like that on my personal Instagram. A captain at the time asked me to create an Instagram for the station. So I said, sure, no problem, right? So I've been curating, and I enjoy taking pictures just aside from everything else. And, obviously I've been entrenched in the fire department damn near my entire life. And I feel like I have a good eye for photos and stuff like that. So taking these photos for that particular Instagram page is a labor of love for me. I really enjoy doing it. It takes time to, get the right shot. I'll take 100 shots of something when we're out drilling, or, if we're sitting, on the sidelines at an incident or something like that. And then later in the night, I'll go through those photos. I'll edit what looks cool. I'll put educational captions to it because it is an official LAFD station Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was asked to do that, I had to go through like a whole training, right?
Yeah, I remember.
With the community liaison office from LA City, sent a representative down with the captain that's in charge of all of our social media monitoring and stuff like that.
Right.
I had to go through with the fine tooth comb, the social media policy, watch a couple videos on what you can and can't post, all that stuff, right? So I'm well aware of what the social media policy is for the city of Los Angeles and for the fire department. There were even like extra things sent down by the fire chief afterwards, letters explaining what we can and can't post after the pandemic hit. And obviously social media has grown since then. TikTok wasn't even a thing when I started this thing. Like I said, there was no other station pages. There's a ton of station pages out now that post different things. And so I have to stay on top of that. So when I do post to that page, I'm not just like willy-nilly posting stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of thought that goes into every one of those posts. So basically what happened was, and for those of you that don't know, I was given a direct order from our West Bureau commander, which is a very high up chief, to immediately delete the 63's page and all of its contents. Okay. I was called in the front office one morning.
To delete it, not just deactivate
delete it. No, the letter said delete it. And the captains that I was talking to said, you have to do it right now in front of us so we can confirm that it's done.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, why? And nobody could give me an answer. Okay. Well, I don't know. It's a direct order, came down through battalion from West Bureau. So I'm like, okay. Direct orders are direct order. Like you can get in a lot of trouble for ignoring a direct order. I go, okay, but I have 4 years worth of photos, original photos and videos on here. 350 posts that took a lot of time and effort that are quality material that I would like to save at least to my phone before you can't expect me to just delete 4 years of work willy-nilly right now in front of you without trying to archive it or save it or anything. So they go, okay, you have till 2:00 to archive everything.
Okay.
So basically what happened is, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We had a structure fire, okay, in our district. It was a vacant, like a fourplex, deep into a lot. And it was the third time that this vacant had burned. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now you can speculate to how and why a vacant building in Venice, the second highest homeless population in the city of Los Angeles, would burn 3 times. I'm not going to comment on that. But that's what happened. Okay. So typically we don't get involved. Rescue 6-3, when we get assigned to a structure fire, we're usually assigned medical group, right? Which basically we get all suited up, we pull all our medical stuff, backboards out and stuff like that, and we post up with all our gear near where the fire is, and we're mainly there in case one of our guys gets hurt, right? Also, if there's somebody trapped and they pull someone, now there's a paramedic rescue right there with all their gear that can work to save somebody and stuff like that, right? And typically we don't get involved with firefighting, right? Every once in a while, if it's in our first in district and we're there quickly, obviously we'll help like lay a line and stuff like that. But for the most part, we're not involved with firefighting operations. Every once in a while, they'll attach us to the truck company or to the engine company and we'll actually fight fire. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what happened this night. So we got attached to the truck company. The roof was burned off the thing already. There was a whole lot to do with the truck. So we were just kind of pulling hose and helping with the engine company inside. Mm-hmm. Got a knockdown on the building. It's a vacant building. There was nothing in there. The roof's been burned off. There's no identifying features. There's no address. There's no personal belongings. There's no nothing in there, right? So once we put out a fire, we have to go through and pull off all the moldings,
Right.
all the door jams, pull off all the window jams, all the crown molding, everything, looking for little spots where embers can still
Right.
be burning, right? Because if you leave that stuff there, you go home for the night, a breeze catches in that little channel, that little ember turns into a flame, get the whole wall going, and you get called back an hour, 2 hours later for a rekindle of the same damn fire, right? So what we call overhaul. We go
Right.
through, we pull everything down to the studs, we find any smoldering embers, and we foam everything, right? We lay a layer of foam down on it.
Right.
We do that to the entire structure, go through room by room and foam everything to make sure that everything's completely out. Okay. 40 minutes after the fire was knocked down and we were going through for the second time, just hitting little hot spots, I pulled out my phone and took a video of the guys doing overhaul. Okay. No firefighting activities. Still, everything's the structure, the fire's out, everything. Okay. Per our policy, I am not supposed to film or photograph while on scene of an incident. It's just the way it is, dude. I knew that. I knew that when I pulled the camera out and started recording. Even before I posted that video, I paused and thought about it, like, damn, should I? Because I edited it down to a little section, and it's just a video of one of our guys breaking open a wall, and another guy's there with a 1-inch line with foam, and I put a little bit of music to it to make it cool. And in the caption, I explained what overhaul is, why we do what we do, exactly what's happening in the video. So I weighed all that, okay?
Yeah.
And go, this is educational. I'm not posting any personal information, all the stuff that I just said, right?
Right.
So I said, this probably be okay. Posted it. That was, so it was an early morning fire. Got off at 6:30 in the morning. I probably posted it noon. That night, we're going to the Pandages to see To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
We're driving in the car. Phone rings. It's the captain. I need you to take down that last post. Okay. Don't ask any questions. Just take it down. Come in the next day. Don't hear anything. A week later, I get called in the front office and told,
Delete
it. Direct order. So I still don't have an official explanation of why. I'm assuming it is because of that post. I have had nobody explain to me or even ask me, why'd you post that? Or talk to me about anything of, do you understand the policy? Do you understand why this happened?
Yeah, they just said delete.
I have had zero explanation on it. I still have all the photos and videos. Okay. Nobody can access them except me as of right now. So there is a chance, I'm going to let everything kind of just sit until after the new year. It is kind of a crazy time at the end of the year for the fire department and chiefs. And there's a lot of like movement going on in the fire department and a lot of things changing right now.
Right.
So I'm just going to let it sit until after the new year and then just kind of inquire as to why I was forced to delete it and see if I can't wiggle into maybe some extra training that would allow me to bring the page back up.
Yeah, because I was going to say, this is all like a new thing. So there's not really like a process to grieve this.
It really, in my opinion, man, social media is a new thing. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, with the department, there's not a way to like appeal this or grieve this really, right?
Not really. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm like the first
dude
that's gotten told to delete their official station page. Because
that's wild on its own.
It's wild mostly because to me, it's wild because there are a ton of other pages, station pages that post much more questionable content. Like if you scrolled through the 63's page, there is literally nothing on there that is negative or shines a bad light on the fire department in any way, shape, or form. I was told that through like 3 people that one of the chiefs said that one of the posts that caught their eye was when I posted asking for people to sign up for bethematch.com because one of our members' kid has leukemia. Aplastic anemia and needed a bone marrow transplant. So I made a video that basically put it out to the public that we're looking for a donor for Roger's son who was on the podcast. What episode is that?
77.
And asking for people to sign up for bethematch.com. Now through that video, because when you sign up, you have to put in Jesse's name and stuff, right? Hundreds of people registered on Be the Match. Okay. Now we didn't find Jesse's match from that batch of people, but 4 other people found matches from the batch that signed up for Jesse. And it's incredible, right?
Right.
That supposedly is an illegal post because it's connecting the fire department to asking people for something, right? And I'm like,
the LAFD page does that.
Dude,
The official
how about
page does
this?
it for the department.
The
does it.
LAFD brought Be the Match into our graduation
Yes.
to sign up the entire class of our graduation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could see if you're asking for money for a GoFundMe or something like that,
Yeah.
but really, you guys are going to use that as a basis to delete the entire page. So there's a lot of questions in my mind that need to be answered. Outpouring of people that followed the page that were upset that it was that it had to be deleted. And then I actually went to Mom's house to visit and have breakfast, and she goes, "What happened to the 63s page?" And Mom doesn't really get on Instagram at all. I'm like, "How'd you even know that happened?" She goes, "Well, I got on the Nextdoor app, and there's a whole thread of people talking about the 63s page in the neighborhood." Right.
Oh, wow.
Hey, did you guys see that the 63s page got deleted, and this whole like thread of like 20 people that are talking about the page.
Crazy.
So I'm going to let it sit and settle. And after the new year, maybe I'll get a meeting with West Bureau, or maybe write a letter and attach, the Nextdoor app, maybe attach screenshots of what the actual page is, because I'm assuming that West Bureau has never really seen the page, probably heard about the post and saw that particular video and made a random blanket decision like, well, all right, just fucking delete it.
But in that case, delete everything from every page, dude, because by that logic, then any training or on-scene video you see, is that all supposed to be just bystander footage?
And that's
that
the thing,
was
man.
then given to the station to put on their page,
and that's the thing.
Is that all vetted? That doesn't make any sense.
A lot of the videos that the LA City page posts are from stringers like that go into videos like that. If you go through the 63 page, any videos that you see that are actually on scene of an incident are typically that people send it to me, or someone in the neighborhood, tagged me in it, or DM'd me in
news
it, or
clip
whatever.
or something. Yeah.
So I don't really see a reason why it had to happen, but when it happens and somebody gives a direct order of that higher up gives a direct order, you follow direct orders. So for now, the 63's page is deleted. Those of you that have chosen to follow my personal page, I appreciate that, and stay tuned. I may or may not post that page is coming back, but people have asked for an explanation of why and what happened. And I was debating whether to talk about it on here or not, because again, I just don't know what
it's a hot button issue, boy.
Or whatever. But
talk about it.
But yeah, that's the explanation that I have. I'm sorry I don't have any more information for you guys. Hopefully it'll be back and we can start posting content on there again, because I did enjoy doing it. I think the guys at the station enjoyed having it, and the neighborhood, the community enjoyed looking at all that stuff, and never bought any followers, never did any of that. It was a pretty organically grown page, and that I was pretty proud of. So anyway, that's the explanation on that.
Yeah, that's crazy. And because you also posted it like in the context of training, because there's other station pages where like everything is training videos and procedures and stuff, dude. So like what's that doesn't make any sense, man. Doesn't add up.
There we are.
All right, let's get moving into this episode. We had a couple of our last two episodes were just us talking, and now we have a guest. All right. Our guest today is a 20-year veteran RN and also a hilarious comedian. Please welcome Taquita Love.
Hello.
Hi there.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Veteran makes me seem old.
I know, right? Experienced.
What determines veteran? Sorry, you're doing your introduction.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is it 10 plus?
I think.
Okay.
That'd be.
I don't know, man, because
because
what if you got 5 years, but you've really been through it? You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
true.
Like, what if you did like 5 years at LA County USC and you've seen
if you
everything?
do 30
done
days at county, you're a veteran.
You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I think 20 years qualifies you.
I would
Absolutely.
I have 19. I call myself a veteran. So yeah, that feels good.
Mhm.
That's a good chunk of. That's a good amount of time.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you for that
amount of time.
compliment then.
All right. So you're from Chicago, right?
I am.
All right.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. And that's where you decided to become a nurse?
Yes. I was initially in school for bio pre-med.
Okay.
And around that time, my grandmother was diagnosed with throat cancer.
Oh, man.
And I think it was outside of the fact that like medical school was going to be really hard.
Yeah.
But
Time consuming.
and time consuming. I think like the passing of her and like the interactions that I had with the nurses versus the doctors, and like I would see how the doctors would come in and be like, if it was like Charlie Brown when it's like,
yeah.
and then like they would leave. no one would know what they meant. Like we were just sitting there, and then the nurse would come in and like explain what happened,
Right.
and like not minimizing the care that doctors have, but it was a care that I felt like I wanted to be more connected to that type of care.
Sure.
Right.
And I think that is when I decided to, not immediately, but I wound up transitioning from bio pre-med to the nursing program at Loyola University in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a great program.
Yeah, it's actually pretty amazing when you talk about care, like how much the doctors make decisions on what direction we're going to go, but how much skill RNs actually have, how much they actually do procedure-wise. You know, not to mention just like reading doctor's notes or understanding what the hell a doctor's talking about.
Let me tell you what he said.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just like you said, it really is. You really are like the tip of the spear when it comes to caring for patients. And I can see how that would be attractive to somebody who's deciding what to do and come up.
Yeah, especially if you went through that.
Yeah, and we didn't have the money for medical school, and I wasn't doing great in all my classes. So
you got to weigh it all.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah.
A lot of wins pushing you toward nursing there.
Yeah, when we talked about it earlier, my wife's a PA, and when she was kind of going through and doing all her prerequisites and stuff like that, we you know, discussed MD as well, and just kind of looking down that road. It was just like, whoa, that is a long road.
Long
compared to, you know, PA or RN or something like that.
Yeah, and there's so much on top of it. Like once you're out, it just takes forever to be like fully accredited, like to be an attending, and then you're paying like malpractice insurance all the time.
Yeah,
it's just there's like so much risk.
Yeah,
involved with being like a full MD.
Yeah, and then if you want to open your own like private practice and stuff like that, it's like starting and running a new business,
full on company, corporation.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I feel like the quality of life is different as well. There's an extreme, like, oh, you know, when you get to the certain point as a physician, or you make all the money, but it's like your life is always like answering a page, and you know, like it's like you're never off. You know,
I always talk about that with my kids, right? Because like I have adult ass conversations with my kids. When they ask me a question, I don't sugarcoat anything. Like I'll go through a full, like, Daddy, what's going on with the vote on the news? But I'll give them a full explanation of Congress and the Senate and everything, right? So they can get a full understanding. But I talk to them about that too, about how it's important to have a balance in your life. Because I guarantee you, people that sacrifice pro athletes, top-notch doctors, stuff like that, that are really, really great in their field, have sacrificed a ton to get there. And a lot of times that sacrifice is your family, your time to yourself, your mental health, relationships, all that stuff. And I've had ups and downs in my life, and I've realized that you have to have a balance between that stuff.
At some point, you're just like, you
have to. It's not worth it.
You live at work, and then you go home, and it's like work is following you home, and then it's like your mind doesn't shut off, and it's just like,
Yep.
Because then that's the other thing too. You're always a doctor.
Yeah.
So anywhere you're at, you're on a plane. That's the first thing. There's a doctor on the plane. Like shit.
You're always a nurse too, but you could be like, Sarah got it today.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, we've had that too on the show where we had a guy that drowned in Hawaii, and there were nurses on the beach on vacation that gave him CPR and everything and helped bring him back.
That's great.
So it's like you never know.
Like one of the honest to God, one of the best parts about my job is that I don't fucking think about it when I go home. I don't think about being a firefighter at all when I'm at home. I don't have any projects I need to, work on or follow up on or anything like that. It's just like when I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think with me, as a nurse, it took a long time for me to disconnect because my background is pediatric oncology, stem cell transplant.
Okay.
And so for the majority of my career, I've been a transplant nurse, oncology nurse, sickle cell, like all these different types, it's like critical care, to an extreme, and you go home and you're like, okay, those patients become your family.
Sure.
Because they're there. Right. But I think at some point in life, something clicks and you're just like, I need to enjoy, like when I leave, I need to be like, trust that everything will be okay until I come back. And also when I leave, I need to be able to say, hey, friends, let's go enjoy like hanging out. And I don't want to talk about work, you know, and then it's like
Exactly.
relationships. Let's go enjoy a vacation. And I don't want to talk about work, you
Yeah.
know? And then at some point, like life becomes, you know, you create a balance.
Yeah.
It's so necessary. I wish I did it sooner in life.
I think that
Totally.
just as you get older and more mature and you experience ups and downs in life, at least for me, I've realized that I have control over I really have control over my happiness,
Yes.
what I get mad at, what I find interesting, what it's all in me. Like I always tell people and I tell my kids, it's like the world doesn't, nothing happens to you. Shit just happens. And it's all about how you react to it and how you react to it. Because I could choose to be at home and be all pissed off about all the shit in the fire department, or the page I just got done being pissed off about, right? Or I could go home and choose to be happy and enjoy my time with my kids, you know, or whatever, watch a movie and just like detach from that. So I think finding the ability to do that, it comes when you have experienced a little bit of life and you realize, fuck, man, I can be happy if I want to be, or I can dwell in this sadness if I want to.
100%. You need that balance anyways, but then also you can't really always just talk about work with people that don't do this. You know what I mean? If you're on a date or on vacation or anything, because you tell a regular person, you know, something that happened, it blows their mind. Like, you got to do this every day. Like, what do you do? You know what I mean?
I think
changes the whole tone.
I think that's important too. Also, is having friends and acquaintances that have nothing to do with what you do for work.
Yes.
Because at least with the fire department, a lot of times, or for a lot of guys, it'll become their world, you know, and like all your friends are the guys from the station, or guys that do, you know, firefighting or paramedicine or something like that, or you know, nurses you're hanging out with from the hospital, and you never get away from that circle of talking about that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like all people want to talk about. So
I think it's important to debrief, but like you said, when you become like more mature, it's like I need to just go enjoy my life.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
there's no need for me to do all the overtime. You know, it's
Exactly.
just like
exactly.
Yeah. Like, what are you going to do with it?
Did you choose, or were you kind of drawn to the pediatric care early on, or how did you get into that? Was that something you knew you were going to get into when you first started?
I was working at a children's hospital. Well, it was called Children's Memorial in Chicago. Now it's Lurie's Children's.
Okay.
I started there, and I started as a student nurse, and in student nurse program, I had two options. One was pediatric oncology, and the other one was pediatric neurology.
Okay.
It was a pediatric hospital, so every floor was pediatric and kids. So I gravitated towards it. It seemed like a good fit for me.
All right.
I would imagine it would be,
I mean,
difficult to.
There's a thing about kids that people underestimate. They don't have that big wall and that barrier for fear yet. Kids are just like
super resilient.
They don't know, like that the lack of knowledge with like fear and like the consequences and what it means for this diagnosis. The parents stress out about it. The family stress out about it. But like kids understand, but it's like they puke, they get up, they jump on the bed again, they puke again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they play video games. And that, I think the naivety sometimes makes it easier for healing.
Yeah.
And I feel like it also, for me, it gives more of a normal feel. You know, it's kind of like, I want you to be like, I don't want to say a bad kid, but I want you to do a kid thing.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like you're not sick, you know?
Yeah, I could see that. I guess I never really looked at it that way.
And kids say the darndest thing. They're so special, I think. And you get a lot from them that you don't necessarily, I don't say you don't get it from adults, but adults, we've been through so much. Like we got our barriers, and like we know, like, oh, I know what that means. I'm gonna, like you get a diagnosis of cancer. Oh, I'm out of here. And you're sad and depressed, and that just aids.
It adds to it. Yeah.
Right.
That just makes you die faster. From my perspective, of course, you said everything is what we believe. But it's just like kids, it's like they're just like they're go-getters. They don't even know they're go-getters. They're fighters. They don't even know they're fighting. It's just like it's something about like I just want to play.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's
we don't do that as adults. We be like,
true.
bills.
We could gain a lot from remembering what it felt like to be a kid.
We
I
do, but
think, man.
it comes for you. Adulthood.
Yeah.
responsibility,
Yep.
and stress.
It's like a contrast though between like treating kids or caring for kids in an inpatient setting as opposed to the field. It seems like in a hospital, it's a little more like chill, even because it's different from dealing with that than to dealing with adults and, you know, the hangups and anxieties of adults. But then in the field, when you're dealing with kids, it's kind of like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
yeah,
because you think of your own kid, you don't want anything to happen. You know what I mean? Like you're hyper focused, and it depends, you know, on the severity of the incident and everything.
Yeah.
But it just, yeah, I
think-
would describe it as chill.
I think the main thing for us with kids, like pre-hospital care, is that, especially in LA County, there ain't a whole lot that we can do for kids.
Yeah.
We're pretty damn limited as to, like, I can't intubate in the field. There's size requirements and weight requirements. And I have run into that before, where I had a kid, he was 10 years old. He was kind of big 10-year-old, but he was below the age requirement, below the height requirement, weight requirement to intubate, and he's having an asthma attack. And he was in cardiac arrest already by the time we got there. And parents were like, he's been struggling. His inhaler wasn't working. So we're doing CPR and everything. And you know, I go to intubate, and the captain I was working with was actually an EMS captain working overtime. And he goes, hey, man, you can't intubate him. And I'm like looking at this kid's cords, and he's swollen up. And I've got a tiny little tube. And he goes, no, you can't do that, man. You got to make, fuck. So I put everything back. We're bagging the kid. And get him down, make a phone call, you know, tell the base hospital, this is what I have. I'd like to intubate. This is his size, this is what he is on the Brazo, blah, blah, blah. No, you cannot. They told me not to intubate. Okay. So,
there's so many rules.
Shit, man. So OP airway, tight. You know, so I'm holding, you know, tight on the mask, and we're forcing air into this kid. And doing that and getting air in, obviously, you know, Taquita knows that, you know, kids that go into cardiac arrest are typically respiratory issues that will cause that cardiac arrest. It's really rare that you have a kid that has a heart issue that makes them go into cardiac arrest. So, you know, we were basically forcing air past this swollen airway. And then once we started actually forcing air in, here comes the, you know, his rhythm came back. So you get done with the call like that, and I'm thinking to myself, like, God damn, man, like I could have intubated that kid. I could have gone against what I was told by the base hospital to intubate. I know I could have intubated him. I'm looking at the cords right there. I know this tube is going to fit in there. I know it. And now we're dealing with the kid who knows what it's done to his brain, not having air that long. We got him back. We got a heart rate back. You know, maybe he'll start breathing on his own. But what have we done to this kid's brain by that extra 2 minutes of not having? So that's the most frustrating thing for me with kids is I'm limited what I can do out there. So it's really just step on the gas as fast as you can and keep them alive to get to the hospital. And then there's only particular hospitals that will take kids, that will take kids, you know, that are emergency departments approved for pediatrics. And then you got to think, like, God, is this kid in bad enough shape where he needs to go to a children's hospital where everybody's a specialist, you know, and something like that. Sometimes you get kids that
I think all kids should go to like a place like that.
And I think so too.
But we have
like
3, you know,
like there's more than just care. It's like you got to know how to deal and talk and communicate, and a place that is geared towards that population lends the best care, in my opinion, of course.
Yes.
But it's so different, like, because everyone at a children's hospital, they're here for the kid.
Yeah.
They know how to get information. They know how to communicate. They know how to treat. They know how to do everything that needs to be done.
Even just talking to the kid. Yeah. To get information.
It's like, you're not drill sergeant with a kid. You like, and they're different types of kids. It's just like they're different types of adults. And it's just like, there's such a spectrum. But yeah, I definitely think that getting in that place where like everybody knows how to deal with it. It's like with neonatologists. It's like they know how to communicate with the babies that other people, you know, can't.
It's funny that you bring that up because I feel that way about like everybody in the public, right? Like I feel like 20 years of doing this for me has made me a sociologist. Like I can walk into a house and get a feel for a person's attitude, their demeanor. And there's a certain way you talk to that person, the homeless population. I can tell who's just in a bad spot, and there's a certain way. And I can tell somebody who's been on, you know, meth for 6 days
but we're
straight.
natural assessors.
Exactly.
It's just, it comes innate. It's like you can look at somebody. You don't even want to do an assessment, but it's like your brain just
do it
connects.
anyway.
And it's like, so that some person doesn't look good, like, or you can just tell.
Yeah.
It's called being a veteran.
Exactly. Dang,
Yeah.
Look at that.
man.
I told one
You
joke.
do it with the scene too. Like you just be aware of everything where you walk in and what your hazards are. Yeah, just
Yeah. At what point did you decide to make a transition to Los Angeles from Chicago? Was there any stops in between, and did comedy have anything to do with that decision?
Okay.
Because there's a comedy scene in Chicago.
There's
a
comedy
big comedy scene.
Chicago.
Yeah.
So my road to being a comedian is not traditional.
Okay.
I don't think I was a class clown, or like I wasn't like I want to be a comedian. That was not ever something I spoke prior to doing stand up. I became a travel nurse. I was in Chicago. The guy I was dating hadn't proposed yet, or it was just like, what is life gonna do? And I kind of just wanted to take a plunge, and so I became a travel nurse. I was a travel nurse 6 years, I believe. I was still working in Chicago and then working as a travel nurse.
Were you just
outside.
working like a nearby county? So you're just outside of the travel requirements, or did you actually go somewhere?
I got on a plane. I packed up everything. I shipped my car to LA.
Yeah.
And ironically, my first assignment was at City of Hope.
Okay. Cancer.
And I was there for almost a year. So I came to LA or California, and I literally never left.
Yeah.
And then I bounced, and then I did this travel assignment in San Diego, and then I came back to LA, and then I pretty much like at some point I was like, Chicago job, I can't keep doing both.
I'm making too much money traveling,
and it wasn't even that.
It's not cold.
It wasn't the money. Well, yeah. But then I took an improv class in LA because I was an introvert like you.
yeah.
And I still consider myself to be one.
Yeah.
I think things that I'm knowledgeable about, I can speak confidently about, but like you would barely get to know me unless we were in the environments that you have to be social. So I did improv at Second City.
Okay.
I have early, like maybe 13-ish years ago.
But Second City here,
Second City
not
here.
in LA.
Not in
Chicago.
Chicago. Chicago, I didn't do any comedy in Chicago until after I started in LA.
Okay.
Because Second City, Chicago's the OG Second City, right?
Yeah, that's the one that makes all the stars.
Yeah.
From my understanding.
Yeah.
So improv, then I did improv Second City, then I did improv at UCB. And improv, I did that because again, I was an introvert. I was here, new people, didn't know anybody at work, and wanted to become less shy.
Sure.
I wanted to be like, because I was
That's
a nerd.
really jumping in though.
I was a nerd, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm still a nerd. I think I'm cool now a little bit. I think people are like, hey, you're cute, you're cool, whatever, you're a nurse. Yeah. And then I took a stand-up class. There some years passed in between doing Second City, sketch, improv, writing. And my brother and one of my friends at the time are the reasons why I started to try stand up.
Okay.
UCB, I don't know if you know like about like the monologues and the improv and the scenes. So I did their program in
Upright Citizens Brigade, for those that don't know.
Thank you. I never like to correct because I don't want to mess it up. I'm just like, let me keep it simple. And no one was really like giving me applause or complimenting my characters or my acting. They were like, your stories are so funny.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, your stories that, and something clicked. It was like the stories, my life, the things I had went through. It was interesting, and people liked hearing me talk about it. All the other stuff, they were like, okay, like we don't care about all that extra, but like the stories.
It's like what Chappelle's doing right now. It's not really like jokes per se. He's just telling funny ass stories that have little things on it, you know?
I don't know. Chappelle's the GOAT. So like I think he's a storyteller. He's all of it. So
you get like in this it seems to me, and I'm just a spectator in the stands watching comedy shows, but it seems like everybody gets their little groove that's like their thing, you know? And there's some people that have joke, you know, kind of like Ben. And there's other people that have a story that's funny along the way and really pays off at the end. Everybody has their own little vibe, you know. It's cool to have.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes you don't know what it is until you've just done it. So for me, it's kind of like that. It was like, okay, my brother had seen I don't know if he saw a flyer. David A. Arnold had a stand-up class.
Oh.
Rest in peace, David A. Arnold, who had become a very great mentor of mine. Me and my brother audited his class one summer.
Okay.
Just like, hey, let's check it out. And my friend at the time was dating a comedian, and she would always say, oh, you should do stand-up. You should do stand-up. And I was like, I didn't pay attention to it. But me and my brother audited David A. Arnold's class. My brother did not take the class. I was so pissed.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, we were two like people in the back, like, my brother's a nurse too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we left. We didn't do anything. Like, we didn't sign up. And I think maybe a year later, I was off work for some reason. And I was like, let me see what that's all about. And I literally called his assistant and was like, I know what happened. Something happened the night before, and I was like, I need to face my dreams or figure it out or go be daring, whatever, something jumps into you and you're like, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
And I literally texted his assistant and was like, hey, can I still do the class? The class had started that day. They were already like the middle of the 3-hour session.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, come on, give me your money, but come on.
Right.
So
You're going to pay full price, right?
Yeah. No, I did. And I went, and it was like, I don't know. I felt like, not immediately, but I felt like that was a place that I belonged.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't have a set. All the other people in the class were like, we're comedians and we have sets and we're working on our jokes and we're polishing our stuff. And when it was time for me to like say why I was there, I was just like, I just, like people say I'm funny or whatever.
Yeah.
And
so you had never performed
I had
stand-up
never
before
performed
that?
stand-up
Okay.
before that.
Right.
And David A. Arnold was like, okay, talk for 5 minutes. Like, everybody did 5 minutes. And he was like, well, you ain't got no jokes to talk. And literally, I talked about my world as a nurse and like, the things that you can't say at work, but you want to say. And like, I connected with the other people. And years passed and, continuing to do stand up.
Yeah.
And then at some point I was like, this feels good. I booked a spot on Laughs on Fox.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what year that was. That's when I was like, oh, hey, I might be funny. Oh,
like 2015, 2014.
Was that when it was
there?
out? Like,
Yeah.
cause
I did one in 2014, but it didn't air.
Okay, I think that's when I think it was out for like a year or two.
It was out for a couple years.
Know,
Yeah.
But I think I did like the tail end before it was like no longer shooting or filming.
Did it shoot at Pachenka?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
With
Perrin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, but they aired like a little clip, and it was a nursing joke, and it was like, it was amazing to see like that part of me, being exposed in a different way outside of like the brain, like Taquita, the nurse, the smart girl, like, and I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah.
And then my mom was like, "Oh, my daughter a comedian." Like it was. I mean, I had one TV spot, and she was like, "Oh, my baby's a superstar." And I like, and of course, years later, and I'm still here, doing, stand up on a.
You go back to Chicago.
Oh, I did go back to Chicago. I have my cousin, Jay Washington. Do you know him?
Yeah, I know Jay. I know Jay was your cousin.
No one knows we're cousins.
That's crazy.
I didn't meet him until I went back to Chicago. My mom introduced us on Facebook. And he had a show at the Laugh Factory in Chicago.
Yeah. Jay was on my show like 2 months ago.
Oh, yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah, Jay's so funny.
He invited me to do a show. I did the show in Chicago. That was 8-9 years ago ish. And that was my introduction to stand up in Chicago.
Okay.
I did the show, and then from there I met the bookers. I met all the other Chicago comedians, and I like to say I became like a cousin to Chicago comedy because I wasn't on the scene at that point. But then when I would go home, I would be able to get spots. Yeah. And like kind of work in Chicago.
They're gonna claim you when you blow up.
Well,
she's a Chicago girl.
Born and bred.
Came up here, right?
But no, so I like Jay Washington was like the person that like was like, yo, come do my show for sure. Yeah. And then he took me on the road with him, like I did Indiana. He put me on his podcast. He was like, yo, like he kind of like great. He embraced me. It was like family. And I'm just like, yes.
That's what's up.
So cool.
Do you remember the other people that were in David's class with you?
Yes.
Are they doing stand up still?
Natasha Pearl.
Oh yeah, she was in class with you? Okay.
We became friends. Yeah. I did we worked together on other projects. there was another guy. He wound up passing a David. I don't know if you know. He was close with Natasha. But anyways, I don't want to go. But I'm trying to see who else. Yes, Susan. She's she's an actress. She's on all these commercials. But yeah, a lot of people very successful.
I did a couple comedy classes, and nobody does comedy.
Really?
For those classes. No, nobody even did a show after that. Like I was the only person that kept doing stand up. Right?
Well, I actually taught a class at Second City online. A stand-up class, and what's crazy is that like a lot of people will take classes, but when it's time to be like, go get on stage, go perform in front of an audience, people are like, I'm not ready yet. Nope. Yeah. I'm like, we just wrote 7 minutes worth of jokes. Go try. But yeah, but the class that I took with David A. Arnold was like the class you had to get on stage.
Yeah,
that was like, you go get on stage, send me your tape.
See,
class was getting on stage.
David's a great comedian. He has a Netflix special. He had that special released right before he passed, right? Yeah, unfortunately. And I always heard good things about his class.
Amazing.
Dave Getzoff.
Amazing.
Always take his class. Yeah. And Dave is super funny.
I think Dave's
great.
Getzoff took it more than me, but I took it a couple
I think he said he took it like 5 times or something. Yeah. He would always recommend it.
It's a work ethic. It's a mentality.
What exactly do they teach in a stand-up class?
They don't teach you how to be funny.
No.
Teaching you how to be funny is not. It's like
structure. Yeah. Timing.
Maybe. Because I've taught classes and I can't teach people how to be funny. That's the first thing David said when I went to his class. I'm not going to teach you how to be funny.
Yeah.
But there is a confidence. There is a momentum. There is telling your story, telling your truth. There is a lot of components that come into it, and you learn it as you go, but
that you don't add to and accentuate you being funny.
Yeah, but you don't learn it unless you do it. It's kind of like just go be bad so you can be good. You know?
Right.
I don't know if you feel like that at all, but I had to
be
okay.
You got to go eat shit for a few years. I tell everybody that it's like getting a guitar and playing concerts without taking lessons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Everyone see your guitar lessons or your concerts, basically.
Do you feel more like a nurse or more like a comedian these days? Since you've been doing both for a while now.
I don't think there's a way to separate the two, because when I'm working as a nurse, your
heart's there.
I care about people.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. And I think since I kind of dedicated being a nurse to my grandmother who I lost to cancer.
Yeah.
There's something about, I don't know that I'd ever leave it because it keeps me normal. And I don't know. I don't even know if that's, you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Right. It keeps me like a regular person and dealing with regular issues, and like it keeps me humble.
Yeah.
But like I think being a comedian is like, it's just who you become. I don't know that it's like you have to be on a stage to be in your comedic timing and humor. Someone asked me, how much time do you spend on writing and preparing? And I'm like, living is being a comedian. You know, like getting my heart broken is being a comedian, because you gotta cry, you gotta sulk, you gotta stalk. Okay, not stalk. Yeah, stalk. But you gotta go through all those moments and to find like what makes it, where's the humor, and how can I share this with other people? And it's all, I believe, a part of healing. It's all a part of, that, like, laughter is the best medicine. Yeah. And I truly do believe that it's something that's released when you let go, and like, you just kind of like, you know what, he cheated, but a lot of people get cheated on, like now I can move on. Or, like I lost that job, but a lot of people get fired, or, whatever.
A lot of power behind
it. Makes you, it makes you feel like you're not going through things alone.
Yeah.
No, you put it perfectly. And that's what's dope about being a comedian too, is like once you can put those stories and those lessons into bits, that's what relates with the audience.
Yeah.
So it's like you have whole ass strangers that never met you before, and in most cases don't really want to like you, and then you win them over because they end up relating to you like, oh, me too, I know.
Like I had to do that too. Like, oh, I'm going through that too. I don't know. And I do feel some type of, they say it's therapy too. I feel like it's therapeutic for me. Yeah. Because it's like I'm being who I am. I'm not being
There's a release to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's it helps, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels good too once you know that you can do it and you know that you can crush.
Yeah.
That like you just have that ability. And it's kind of like fun. Like, all right, that's 50 strangers. They're about to love me like in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? You just go and do it.
That's the talk you give yourself before you go on stage.
No, but I say it after. But like that's what I know that I like about it. You know what I mean? Because like you know that you can do that, and before you started, you couldn't do that shit. Nobody can. You know what I mean?
You be like 3 minutes. I gotta do 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm gonna say for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like 12 minutes, 18 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look up and you're like, I didn't even do any of my jokes yet, and it's like, oh, there's the light. It becomes like a part of you.
Yeah, and you can feel when they get on your side.
Yeah, it's like, I won them over. Now I can talk about anything I want. You know?
Yeah.
And I connect that to nursing too, because like when there's a connection you have to have with people before you actually do what you came to do.
Sure. Yeah.
So like, I'm not gonna be like, hey,
It's
here's
gotta
your
be a
shot.
trust there.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, here's your shot. Bam. You got to be like, hey, I'm Taquita. How are
Yeah.
you? I hear this. I'm going to do this. It may feel like this. And then like, you trust me yet? Okay. Bam. Here's your shot. Not everybody is trusting you, but it's like, you don't just go in and be like, ah.
And it's funny because like it's the same thing with paramedicine, right? That, in my opinion, makes a good or not so good paramedic is taking that time to make that connection. Number one, to explain what you're gonna do, especially when you're dealing with kids.
Yeah.
I had a kid at the airport just a couple nights ago. I was gonna put the pulse ox on, right? I had an asthma attack on the flight. It was coming off. We meet him at the gate, and as soon as the kid saw the little red laser in the pulse ox, I mean, started freaking out. And so it's this whole process of going through like, hey, there's nothing to be scared of. It's just a light. Look, I'll put it on mine. Look, mommy, put it on mommy. It doesn't hurt. It's just, you can look at my heart rate around here. You can look and see what my oxygen, I'm seeing what your oxygen is. Check it out. Oh, it's this and that. Okay, you ready to go? And then he was like, okay. So it's like that whole, I don't know, man. It's that human aspect of it, I guess. Like realizing, again, being a sociologist and realizing what people need to feel comfortable with you so that you can do your job properly.
Yeah, but it's true. That is a good parallel between the two things because, you have to get people to like you and trust you really fast.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Not everybody's going to like you too. It's just like, okay, I got through today. Like, we had to hold that one down. But
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's the same thing with shows. Sometimes you walk into a show like, this is going to be shit. This is going to be work.
But that's part of it too. Yeah. Realizing when you're not going to get through to this one, but you got to do what you got to do. So it's like, hey, I'm sorry, but I got to, whatever the hell. We got to get this IV. I'm sorry, holding down. And okay, it's done. But it's the same thing with comedy. I've seen comedy shows where you could tell the comic has lost them and they're just like, fuck it, I'm going to do my set. And they just go ahead and, plow ahead with their set.
Yep. Or perform to the people that are laughing.
Yeah, exactly. I did want to give a shout out to City of Hope. City of Hope took care of Albert, remember?
Sanchez. That's right. Yeah, we had a guy had stage 4 colon cancer, right? Yeah, colon cancer. And City of Hope saved him.
Oh, God. Yeah, they're amazing.
Amazing.
They are amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you got into nursing for the connection, but then you picked peds oncology, which is like the most connecting with the patients and families and taking it home with you. So do you feel like a burden from that sometimes, or when you were doing it?
When you say burden, or do you mean burnout?
Both, basically.
I would say at some point I won't say burden because again, like
it's case by case.
It's case by case, but then it's like in honor of my grandmother, Doris Haywood. Yeah. It's always like in honor of her, in honor of like what she went through, and I can connect with families now because our family went through what your family's going through. Okay. But I will say that there's sacrifice. I think you mentioned sacrifice earlier. So like things sacrificed when you give to your job in that way, and I didn't know balance in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I would be at work literally and work late because I mean, it's kind of like you can go home or you can stay. And a lot of times I would stay and continue to like just do the extra overtime. But I remember one time like 2 friends came, they were buzzing my buzzer at 10 p.m. I was supposed to get off at 7. I think I probably got home at 9. And they were like, we're going out tonight. And I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm tired. I don't want to go. And they made me go out. And that was a point where I realized like just how important the other part of life is. Relationships, friendships, family.
Yeah.
You know, like in the fields that we work in, there's always like who's going to work the holidays?
Yeah.
And you got to work the holidays at some point, you know,
Yeah.
until you get like to the point where
Until you become a vet.
Yeah, until you become a vet.
Yeah.
But it was just like all the Christmases to Thanksgivings,
Yeah.
the birthdays, the holidays that I, you know, like special occasions that I missed because it's my shift. You know, at some point you like, yo, like those that becomes more important than, oh, we getting a bonus or, you know,
Exactly.
or it's hazard pay.
Right.
And I think at some point, I don't know if I would call it burnout, but I would say that there's a realization where it's like work cannot mean more to me than other components of my life.
Yeah.
And stand up gave me an outlet to live another part of my life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
It does seem to me like I would imagine pediatric oncology, you're going to have cases where the child, you know, gets better and leaves the hospital, and you're going to have cases where they don't. And the same thing with us. You know, we have cases where we work somebody up and we have good outcomes, and other times when we work people up, and there's been a ton of times over a career when it doesn't become a good outcome. I've always looked at that as like, at least I gave this person, like everything that I gave to this incident, from my demeanor with the family to how I treated the patient to how respectful I speak to everybody to the way I'm dressed, you know, because like when you walk into an incident, if my shirt's untucked, if I look like I don't have my shit together, that's the family's natural first reaction to me is like, who the hell is this guy that's going to work on my family? So even as much as I keep my uniform clean and crisp and tucked in and my boots shine and stuff like that, it all sets the tone for the entire patient experience with that person, you know? And so like even people that I have where it's a bad outcome, right? Like I'll give a quick example. We had a person, cancer patient at home, was on hospice, cardiac arrest. And this is shortly after Robert, my father-in-law passed away, same thing, throat cancer. And the wife that was there was obviously upset, you know, her husband is dying. So when we're trying to get information like meds, you know, allergies, a clear history of what's going on, right? I'm working on the patient. My partner's back there. I can hear her talking to, well, she's not being forthcoming with this information because she's constant, you know, she's here with her husband and what we're doing here. And the person I was working with, you could hear getting more frustrated because he's trying to get information so that he can make base contact and get going with the base hospital and get some guidance and stuff like that. And I could hear him getting more irritated that she's not being more forthcoming with the information that he needs, you know, to do his part of the thing. So we wind up working him up and we don't get him back. He passes. And part of the shittiest part of my job is telling somebody or walking into the other room and telling the family that I'm sorry, but we've done everything we can. And, you know, they passed away. And so I'm kind of cleaning up and finishing up with what I have with him, with the patient. You know, we got to leave everything in place, but I always like to cover him up, make him look presentable. The family's going to be there, all this stuff, right? And I could hear him talking to the wife and basically just being short with saying, your husband passed away. She got upset. He walked out. The captain tried to talk to her. She's not having it. He walked out. And you got to keep in mind that I just lost Robert, right? So this type of feeling was settled in my heart and it had been dwelling there for a couple weeks after his passing. And I walked in there and I know I had that coming out of me when I went up to her and I told her I'm sorry. And I could feel I had tears in my eyes. And I asked her if she wanted a hug. Yeah. Gave her a big hug. And we just sat there and I let her cry for a good 2 minutes, you know? And I asked her if there's anybody I can call for her, if she wanted us to stay and sit with her for me, because she was alone in the house. And she said, no, you know, but no, thank you. And that was it. And we walked out, and usually we'll walk out and let the family be with the deceased, and we'll sit out there and wait for LAPD shows up, and they're the ones that help guide them through the coroner and all that stuff. But in that instance, I felt like, okay, it wasn't a good outcome, but everything about my presence there made this better for this family. Yeah. I gave, not only am I good at my job, and I gave him the best chance of surviving, if that's, you know, what the outcome was meant to be, but everything about the way I carry myself as a paramedic lent itself to the family having a better experience with this terrible thing that's it has to happen in their lives, you know?
Mhm.
So I would imagine that dealing with that in a pediatric oncology ward like that, do you get that sense that even when there is a bad outcome and the child doesn't survive, that your demeanor and your presence with that child and everything that you did, setting yourself up for procedures, making them feel more comfortable, that connection that you have with the kids, I would imagine that would make the terrible feeling of loss a little bit easier to take, knowing that you were a calming presence to that child at the end.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I will say with our profession, that team is so important.
Yeah.
You know, so like on the opposition, like, you know, people, I don't even want to go there. I was going to say a bad analogy. But like having a team, a good team.
Yeah.
You can do anything.
That's on the same page.
Yeah, and you can get through anything.
Mhm.
So like the first death that I experienced, the wonderful nurses and the people that guided me and trained me in my first job at Children's Memorial Hospital, Linda Hall, Chris Pinar, Adeline Fredericks, those nurses, they set me up.
Yeah.
They were a team.
They made that foundation. For
And when
the
we
nurses to
had
become, yeah.
when we had our deaths, like the first death I experienced, the first bag, you know, the body I had to assist with cleaning to bag, that part of the job, I was doing it with a team.
Yeah.
I was doing it with people that I felt I trusted. I was doing it with people that they believed in me and my skill.
Yeah.
And it was just like a family.
Mhm.
So I think like those types of instances where it's like you're doing it and you're experiencing something that's terrible, but with people that, you know, I don't, for lack of better words, make it better.
Yeah.
And then also the experience. I think what you discussed about your interaction with that woman, that's the stuff that the textbooks and the training on, that's not what you learn.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you can be the textbook version of a role, but we're human. We're dealing with human people. We're dealing with people with feelings, emotions, and the spiritual connection, the physical connection, the emotional connections are needed.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes a great paramedic, a great nurse. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Totally
you can
agree.
save my life, but if you make everybody feel like crap while you're doing it,
Yeah.
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
Mhm.
but I want somebody that can save my
Yeah.
life. So, you know, we might have
Right.
to just get through
Yeah. We're cool.
the
Yeah.
tough times. But I think for me, like every person, I always try to treat them like better than I would want to treat my grandmother.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, and it would be like, okay, I got dumped before going to work, and it was a day where I had where somebody was getting the news that they had a diagnosis,
Mhm.
and literally I had to like I went to work crying and like pissed and like I'm on the phone with the guy and we're trying to figure it out. But then at some point, that person that I was dealing with, like their day to me is worse than my day,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And then it becomes, I got to shut my stuff off. And now this person is helping me to grieve and heal with the stuff I'm going through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it becomes spiritual at some point. At first, it's mechanical when I'm learning and I don't know what I'm doing. But then when those connections, the human connections that you can't even fight it. You know,
Yeah.
like you couldn't stop yourself from asking to give that person a hug.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, at some point, it just becomes you being a person that is good at taking care of people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And
Sure.
it's just like, not everybody likes it. Oh, people be like, I don't want that nurse. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Mhm.
But, and you be okay. You're
Yeah.
okay
Teach
with
their
it.
own. Yeah.
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 But something that happened a couple days ago, I was standing outside of the Laugh Factory, and another comedian had mentioned the fact that they loved comedy because it was the only place where you always get a hug from your coworkers. And I felt like in the instance, it made the connection of like, we all need love. We all need a human connection.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We all hurt, you know.
Yep.
We all, not everybody tells everybody what they're going through. But I just thought that was like a really good way to put it, because comedians, we don't know each other like
Mhm. Yeah.
all the way, but this is when I see you, it's like, yo, good to see you.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get that. Maybe that's why it feels so good when you're like out doing shows, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know what I think I'm digressing, but what else?
Yeah, that's cool.
But the bottom
but
line
strangers
is,
do
yeah.
it too. Yeah, so it's fucking it's
I
cool.
give
Like
you
you
a
just make
hug?
all this connection and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you. Like okay, I
I,
don't
th-
know
I
you,
think
but cool.
I think we as humans just have a couple basic like emotions that we all strive to get in touch with. Like to me, happiness is my biggest barometer. Does this make me happy? Does all this money I'm making make me happy? You know, if not, then that ain't it. You know what I mean? Maybe I just need this much and this other thing, a sprinkle of this to make me happy. And fear. It's like everything that I've ever disliked or hated or like not wanted to do, it all springs from fear for me.
I hate
So
that.
I feel like I just have to have control of those two things in my life. You know what I mean? And I either decide to be happy about shit or decide to be fearful of it or decide to get past that or whatever. But Taquita,
I know we've been talking a lot.
we have
I'm long-winded.
amazing episode. I really appreciate you
you're
coming
great.
in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you were a great guest, and maybe we can talk again in the future
Yeah.
again because I
I
feel
know.
like we got more to talk about. But we're coming to the end of our time here.
You had me tearing up. Y'all don't got no tissue.
All right.
Like,
Uh,
I
was,
thought we were gonna be laughing on this. No.
was there anything you wanted to plug?
You can. I have a podcast. It's called Love Notes, where I talk to my funny friends, most of them comedians or comedic writers and actors, about medical mishaps. And medical mishaps is just any connection or to the medical system, doctor's visits,
Yeah.
breaking something. It's very funny. You can catch that on like all the platforms for podcasts. It's called Love Notes.
Love notes.
Right on. And where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Taqueet, Taqweet, and my website has everything. But people don't look at websites no more, do they? It's all social media. He's
Yeah.
shaking
They
his
click
head.
through
no.
on your bio.
You're like,
yeah.
oh, my
Yeah, hold on,
Instagram.
yeah.
Taqueet, Taqweet. Everything's there for.
You're hanging in with Twitter right now, huh?
Wait, oh, did I say Twitter?
Yeah, you said Twitter.
Okay, wait a minute.
Not even plugging your IG.
Okay,
Come
I
on.
don't know if y'all cut out, but cut that part out. It's Instagram. I'm
Okay,
on Instagram on a
Yeah.
regular basis.
Instagram,
Yeah, I
okay.
barely tweet.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I got to join the movement and be like, I'm not tweeting no more.
I
But
know,
I don't
right?
tweet anyway.
Now I feel good that I didn't invest too much energy into it.
Yeah, tell me about
You
it.
know what I'm saying? Because I'll be watching it all burn.
Yeah, it's Instagram, Taqueet,
Yeah.
Taqweet.
Taqueet. You can follow me at Ben9Humor, Ben number 9 Humor, like Benign Tumor on Instagram and Twitter.
You can follow me at Danny Gonzo34 on Instagram. I deleted my Twitter. It's funny, like the first day after he took over, I mean, it was palpable the amount of like vitriol and stuff that was on Twitter.
Oh, you gotta stay on it. It's great.
So
right now.
I
That's
tried, man.
wild,
And finally,
bro.
That's so
I didn't really tweet that much anyway.
Yeah,
so
me
I was
neither.
just
I'm
like,
just
you know what,
watching
screw
it
this,
all.
and I deleted
Yeah.
it. So just Instagram for now, and then the podcast.
Follow the show at PRC Pod on Instagram and Twitter, or at PRC Podcast on TikTok. You can also email us, contactprcpod@gmail.com. And yeah, follow Taquita. She has hilarious clips and stand-up reels on her Instagram. She's really funny. I've booked her on my own shows multiple times because she's great. Oh, and David Arnold, her comedy teacher and mentor that we talked about, he's got a special out on Netflix now. What's it called
David
again?
A. Arnold. It's called It Ain't for the Weak.
Yeah.
And I was so blessed to feature for him for a couple of the tour dates for that special. Yes. And big prayers out to Julie, his wife, and his family, his daughters, and everybody that's like, going through. His mom, I think she just had a birthday, Miss Massey. Yeah, prayers up for everybody that's healing, or he was great to everybody. Everybody loved him.
Yeah. It's a really funny special. I mean,
It's amazing. Oh my God. And it has a little documentary too. I was at the taping and it was great. It was, whew.
Check
all
it out.
right. All
Okay.
right. Thank you guys.
We'll see ya.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.